Binge or Bin from independent TV, giving you the lowdown on which TV shows are binge-worthy and which ones are bin-worthy. This week, we've been watching Amazon Prime Video's new fantasy show, The Wheel of Time, and the latest season of HBO comedy, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
We've also caught up with the second season of Netflix smash hit Tiger King and Paul Rudd's comedy drama The Shrink Next Door on Apple TV.
And we'll introduce you to our picks of hidden gems we think you should be watching. Hi Annabel.
Hey Jacob, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad.
So, let's talk TV. You have been watching the new season of Tiger King.
I have, yes. We were all locked down when the first season arrived, kind of just looking for something to take our mind off it. And Netflix gave us that. It was this captivating series about eccentric characters and tigers and murder, and it was kind of exactly what we needed in that point. 18 months later, we've got Tiger King Season 2. Series 2 doesn't really give the same intrigue or the same wow factor as the first one did. For the few people who haven't seen Tiger King Season 1, it was an 8-part documentary on Netflix that followed Joe Exotic, a country musician turned tiger park owner, and the saga of this battle against Carol Baskin, an animal rights activist. Filmmakers Eric Goode and Rebecca Chaiklin set out to make a feature film when they discovered this kind of crazy story, and it made a lot of sense to turn it into an 8-part documentary just because there was so much material to pour over and all these characters that you wanted to include. But now with Season 2, it just feels like they're milking a cash cow for all it's worth. If you were hoping for another kind of round 2 showdown between Joe and Carol, you're not going to get it, namely because Joe Exotic is in jail serving a 22-year prison sentence.
I have a prepaid call from
Joe Exotic. There's an innocent man in prison.
He does appear in every single episode of Season 2, although it's always grainy interview footage that's taken of him in prison. Meanwhile, Carol Baskin does feature, but it's always through archival footage, and actually she is in the process of suing Netflix for using that footage of her. I think the worst part about Season 2 is that it does feel like it's treading a lot of the ground that we've already covered in Season 1.
Tiger King 2, is it binge or a bin?
It's a bin.
What's the nature of the dispute between you and Mr. Lowe?
Adios, Joe.
Very personal.
So Jacob, you've been watching Wheel of Time, which kind of looks like a Game of Thrones knockoff.
I mean, not far from it. Jeff Bezos, the Amazon head, because it's a new big Amazon show, it's widely speculated that he really wanted Amazon's version of Game of Thrones, and the response was to adapt Robert Jordan's beloved fantasy novels. So it basically follows a lady named Moiran, a powerful lady who recruits 5 individuals who she believes one of them will be the prophesized dragon, who will either save or destroy the universe. She's very wise, and she's played by Rosamund Pike.
I didn't choose this path, but I will follow it.
Where next?
The 2 rivers.
We know Rosamund Pike from Gone Girl and comedy films including The World's End. And here she's really getting a role to tuck into. There's a lot to get through, a lot of exposition. As someone who doesn't know the books, I was very overwhelmed by a lot of the stuff that was going on. However, as it did continue, I started to get to know characters a bit more and to get to know the rules of the universe. Game of Thrones is very more invested in being a TV show aimed at adults. This is much more a truly fantastical world, and it's much more interested in magic and for showing off its reported $10 million budget per episode, which is up to $4 million more than Game of Thrones episodes cost in the early days. The showrunner, he's called Rafe Judkins, who's actually a former contestant on the TV show Survivor in America. So, you know, good for him. He's been handed the keys to this crazy universe with beloved fans. But he's mapped out 8 seasons, apparently. I feel like for me, as someone who's not versed with this world, I still can't really make head or tail of what's going on. I felt like it wasn't really worth my time.
Jeff Bezos won't be happy. So is it a binge or a bin?
Oh, damn. I've sparked the wrath of Bezos. It's the Wheel of Time is a bin. I'm sorry.
The whole world will burn.
So So I've been watching The Shrink Next Door on Apple TV. It was based on this Stranger Than Fiction 2019 podcast about a man in 90s New York who has his life just taken over by his therapist. In this case, this trusting man is Marty, who's played by Will Ferrell. And then the therapist is Ike, who's played by Paul Rudd.
I think I can help you. The first thing I'm going to do is completely unethical. I'm going to give you a hug. No, I'm a hugger.
So Marty is just like this very overwhelmed man. He starts having panic attacks at work, and so his sister Phyllis encourages him to go see a therapist. And that therapist is Ike. And that's where things kind of take a turn for the worse, and it all starts to get very strange and intrusive very quickly. The real star of the show here is Kathryn Hahn, who plays Phyllis, Marty's sister. She's a revelation. After her scene-stealing role in Marvel's WandaVision earlier this year, she's finally getting the attention that she's due, and she really proves herself to be a phenomenal actor. So The Shrink Next Door has all of the makings of an entertaining, if not really great series, but it still just doesn't live up to what it could have been. I think the main problem is pace. The first 3 episodes are just treading water. It just takes a little too long to find your feet. The show's tone is also a little bit off. So with shows like Fleabag and Succession, we've seen how well it can work to be fluid with genre. And actually, the director of The Shrink Next Door, Michael Showalter, who's a comedian in his own right, has proven himself to be good at this too. He directed 2017 sadcom The Big Sick, which was critically acclaimed and loved by a lot of people. And that showed really well how you can use drama with comedy. With this series, it just feels like they're trying to do too much. Comedy and drama and thriller, and on all fronts, it's failing in all 3 categories.
So, would you say The Shrink Next Door is a binge or a bin?
I would say it was a bin.
I'm going to take care of everything. Feels good, doesn't it?
I don't know about you, but I sorely miss Larry David while he was off our screens. But he's back for the 11th season of Curb Your Enthusiasm, a show that began in 2000. He ran from 8 seasons until 2011 before coming back for a 9th season in 2017. And then a 10th in 2020. The quality just hasn't dipped. I think the last, season 10 and this one, are actually up there with the best that we've had of Curb, which is a staggeringly impressive achievement. This story is focused on Larry writing a TV show based on his upbringing as a young Jewish boy, and he's shopping it around Hollywood. So Netflix won it, then Hulu won it, but it's just kind of seeing Larry given these opportunities that other young writers would snap up. Then Larry, just frustrated with the head guy at Netflix, the way he doesn't deal with the maintenance because he's got an issue with the toilet seat. It's just watching Larry self-destruct, and with his age, he just doesn't care. And he's obviously got his trusty sidekick. Jeff Garlin is back as Jeff Green.
Hello, I see you. I acknowledge you. I connect with you.
I think you're rude.
You see how stupid it is?
Susie Essman, who plays Jeff's wife, Susie in the show, their scenes just come more alive than any scenes featuring any other actors in anything. And it sounds like I'm being dramatic, but I'm not. I just love them two as sparring partners. It just makes me howl with laughter. Nothing makes me howl with laughter quite like Curb Your Enthusiasm. Here, this season, we've got Hayley Cuoco, the Big Bang Theory star, who was also in The Flight Attendant earlier this year. We've got John Hamm, who's back after a successful appearance in the last season. You've got Albert Brooks, you've got Patton Oswalt, and Dylan O'Brien, a Maze Runner actor, who probably is a prime candidate for being the guy who plays a, let's say, a not very nice version of himself.
That sounds very promising, and I feel like I know what your answer is, but is Curb Your Enthusiasm a binge or a bin?
Well, the irony being that the show asks you to curb your enthusiasm when it is just one of the greatest shows of all time. It's a binge. It's a binge.
How do you know prayers don't work? Because I'm bald.
Here on Binge or Bin, we like to highlight the hidden gems we think you should be watching, the shows you might not have heard of, but we think you should fast track to the top of your list. So this week, my hidden gem is Top Boy, the new version on Netflix. The original, when it came out in 2011 on Channel 4, gained this cult fan base similar to Black Mirror. So fast forward to 2019, and Drake, who is a super fan actually of the original series, brought a reboot to Netflix. Top Boy is a drug gang drama. The events of this reboot kind of pick up where the 2011 series left off. So you see the two protagonists, Sully and Deshane, who were these friends turned rivals, coming back home to East London, and chaos and a power struggle ensues.
We're back, bro. Things have changed. I'm running the fields now.
Nah. That.
There's nothing on screen that shouldn't be there. Everything is kind of in service of the storytelling, including the violence. I think the best thing about Top Boy, though, is the cast. It is so well cast. So you've got Ashley Walters and the rapper Kano, who return in their roles as Deshane and Sully, and they both just like lend their characters such a fragility to kind of go along with that typical hardness that you'd expect. Michael Ward, who's like a relative newcomer, he kind of steps in as Jamie, this young and ambitious gangster who is kind of looking to make a name for himself while at the same time looking after his younger siblings and just trying to be a good guy. Top Boy is just a cut above the rest. It's still tense. You've still got everything that you'd expect from a show like that, but at the same time you've got these really human stories at the heart of it as well. I really implore you to go watch Top Boy on Netflix if you haven't.
What else are we gonna be?
So my hidden gem this week is the Apple TV Plus series For All Mankind, which is a series that was created and written by Ronald D. Moore, who Battlestar Galactica fans will be very aware of the name of, because he's the guy who brought that show back for its very successful run earlier this century. Also created by Matt Wolpert and Ben Nadivi. The show is a reimagining of the space race in 50s America. What would have happened if the Soviets had beaten America to the moon? What's really fun about it is that it's caused this ripple effect where lots of things have changed. It doesn't really make it abundantly clear. You have to work it out for yourself. It's kind of thrown in there flippantly in lines of dialogue, and there's a real fun sense of adventure with that. You feel like you're really dipping a toe back into that time and place.
A man is about to set foot on the moon. Across the world, people wait with bated breath.
It's got great music of the era. It's just got great hairstyles and costumes. If you really are into that kind of like American Graffiti style era of films and TV, then For All Mankind will definitely tick those boxes. At its heart, it's just a human tale. It shows you the effects an astronaut's life has on the family that the spacemen and women leave behind. It's to the testament of the actors as well, who really deliver everything they need to. You've got Joel Kinnaman from Altered Carbon and recently seen in The Suicide Squad. Got Sonia Walger, who is a Lost alumni, sorry, I've mentioned it again, who played Penelope Widmore as first woman to enter space, Molly Cobb, who's actually based on a real-life figure called Geraldine. It's also quite a cosy show to watch at this time of year. I think For All Mankind should be, if you've not got Apple TV Plus yet, the reason you do subscribe for a 30-day free trial. You won't be disappointed.
We must keep our eyes to the future.
3, 2.
Thanks so much for watching Binge or Bin. Few things to avoid there this week, but you got some great hidden gems and obviously the ever-reliable Curb Your Enthusiasm to keep you going until we see you again next time. Like or comment below and subscribe for more from independent TV.